It's actually the next day. Well, if you watched the how to do the flower one, it's the day after I did that. I wasn't, like, in the mood to do the crocheting part at that moment, so it's the next day. But it's not too bad. I was expecting it to be like a good week in between, but I've still been making them, so I figured I'd record when I was still in the mood to do this type of crocheting instead of like doing the big blanket or something. I'm doing, you know what I mean, hopefully. Anyway, if you are wanting to do this, and you don't have this little guy yet, the flower, do the video that, or make one of these if you already know how to do it. Do the flower video first and then come back to this, because you're gonna need this to be the center of this. So hopefully one way or another you have one of these, whether you did the video or you already know how to make this. But to start this, I'm still trying to kind of figure out how to do this properly. I'm just kind of making it up as I go along, so do your best with it, and I hope it turns out, because honestly, I'm just doing this for how it works for me. This is my 9th one, and I think I've got the hang of it, so we'll see how it goes again with the explaining mostly, because I don't really know what I'm doing, so hopefully I'll be able to explain it well. But anyway, once you have the little flower completed and ready to go, you don't cut the yarn yet or weave it in from the flower. You still have the yarn attached. Do into the next, whoops, go back in there. Into the next, basically, I think 3 or 4. Honestly, it changes every time for me. Just do slip stitches into the next 3 or 4 stitches until you reach the top of the petal. Okay, now you're there, and I have to do 4 on this one, so it really does, it just depends. So now I'm at the top of the little petal with the stitch, and now I'm going to chain 5. I've tried 6, I've tried 4, I've tried 3. That 3 did not work at all, but I've tried a bunch of different numbers, but 5 seems to be the working part for me. Why, I don't know. It's just the one that works. So try 6. If that seems too loose, do 4. No matter what, it's going to be loose. It has to be loose. So just not overly loose. If it seems like really loose, then do 4, or if it seems really tight, do a couple more. It really depends. So, but I have found what works for me is 5. So now I'm gonna chain 5, just, loop it around and then chain like normal. So there's 5. So you just have that, and then you find one pretty close to the top of the next petal. You find a stitch fairly close to the top. It doesn't have to be at the top, it just has to be fairly close. Again, and then just slip stitch into, into that, and then I like to do one more slip into that, so there's 2, and now you chain another 5. I'm going to do that real quick, and then I'll be back. So let me chain out 5, and then I'll be right back. Alright, there's another 5. So after that, it's the exact same thing. You find one of the stitches that are pretty close to the top of the petal, either here or here-ish, or even over there. It really just has to be somewhere close to the top. It doesn't matter too much. And it depends on this one again. Sometimes I just slip stitch twice into this one. Sometimes I go 3, like this one I'm gonna go 3. So 3 slip stitch into that top of that petal, and now chain another 3 like that, and then find the next spot on the petal. I'm gonna go into this one, so Honestly, it really just depends on how it looks. And then do 2 slip stitch like that. So see, it's starting to look kind of weird, weird and funky. But trust me, it'll look better. And now chain 3 to make the corner, another corner. So there's 3. And then I like to, the slip stitch that you just went into, where this chain is coming out of, I skip the next stitch and go into the one after that with the chain. So it's kind of like that, but I skipped the 1 stitch. So it's kind of like that. So hopefully this is making some sort of sense. I'm still figuring out how to do this, but it looks good to me and it's working, so I like it. So I figured I'd share it because it is kind of a different thing. There's probably a professional pattern out there for it, but this is how I figured out how to do it and it's working for me. Anyway, after you do that slip stitch after the chain 3, you chain another 3 like that, and then find where you want to put the slip stitch in. Go here. I'm going at the end. No, I want to skip that one. I'm going right there. See, again, I really do just make this up as I go along with every single one because they're all slightly different. So there's slip stitch and now chain 3 like that. And then skip this one, skip the next one that your chain is connected to, and slip stitch into the one after. And then do 1 more so it kind of sort of matches the other side. And then chain 3. And then you're gonna find like right about here where it's really bulky. So it might fight you a little bit here. Going in, you slip stitch into that. And then again, and then this is when, so I have 2. I'm not all the way at the end yet, and that's done for a reason, because I am changing colors. You don't have to change colors. I'm sure it would look perfectly fine with the flower being the same color as the crochet granny square part. I'm sure it would be perfectly fine. I just like changing the colors right now because I'm just reaching into my, hang on. I'm just reaching into this and just grabbing a random color, and I'm enjoying doing that. So if you want to keep it the same color, keep it the same color. You don't have to cut the yarn right now and change it. But if you are, this is how I change yarn, and I have my working scissors again. So you cut it like that. Just honestly, wherever, this really doesn't, it'll work. It's not gonna be perfect, but it works and it looks good, so that's basically all I try to do. Alright, now, got a new yarn. Find the end of it. Here it is. And then you do the weird, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this right now. I should be able to. You do the weird knot thingy that I do that never comes undone by sliding it through and through. So, like that. Like that. And then you pull it really tight, and then you cut off these little strings so that it's a very, very subtle knot. That's why I like this knot. I have other videos showing it better than that. Unless that one came out really good, then follow that one. But you can barely see the little knot, so that's why I like that. And it leaves nothing, and that's just the best way I know how to change colors. So because I'm not at the end, I do that because of the way I change colors. Now I can continue slip stitch to the end of the big space that we have here with the big chain 5. And now chain 2, you can do 3 if you want, if that works better for you. It's just the 2, it works better for me. The 3 always looks weird and gappy, and I don't like that, so I just chain 2. And now, this is basically where you start just making a normal granny square. nope, no more chaining. Double crochet 2 next to the chain into the big gap, like that. Now chain 3. And now that you have that done, go into the same gap again. I know it looks huge right now, but it has to be to make this square and the flower not be all squished. So it looks big, but if it looks like really, really big, like you have too much, then decrease a chain. And don't feel bad about taking things apart and redoing it. That's how you figure things out, basically. Yeah, that's just how you figure it out. So don't feel bad if you have to take it apart and redo it 1,000 times. You're kind of guaranteed to do that. Anyway, do 3 more double crochets into the big gap, like where the first 2 in the chain is. So this is the first corner of the granny square. So kind of sort of looks like a normal granny square. Now chain 1. This is the only one that's a little bit funky to do. I mean, they're all kind of funky, but this one's like really funky to do because you have to do the granny square. You have to find one of the stitches. This one is the one I'm going to go into because it's kind of in the middle, at the top of the petal. So that's why I usually try to do 3 at this one specifically, because you want the double crochets to go into the top of the petal, so you have the same amount of whatever they're called, granny square double crochet thingies. You want the same amount on each side. So you find the one that's kind of closest to the center, and then go into that with double crochets 3 times. Again, this one's like the weirdest one to do, just because it's like not into a normal granny square gap that you're used to doing. It's into an actual crochet stitch. Yeah, like that. And that's the funkiest one. The rest is mostly normal. Now, I just chained one. Sorry, I didn't say that, but I'm moving on to the next one. So chain 1 and then do 3 more double crochets into the big gap for the next corner, and go on there. I'm gonna do that. It's a normal granny square corner, so just chain 3 more for the corner and then do another 3 double crochets into here. I'll be right back though. There you go. There's like the top 2 corners ready. Kind of, sort of, getting there. It's really hard to show this. Ah, there we go. That'll work. Then you have the top. These 3 stitches are the top side. These 2 are the sides so far. So hopefully this is making sense to you. And again, if it doesn't, take it apart, redo it. It's fine. It'll turn out. Now chain 1. And now this is the side. So you're going to remember the 3 chain that you did over here, you go in to that gap between the 2 petals. So you do 3 doubles into that gap between the petals. There's that side of the corner. Again, this is gonna be tight because this is only 3 stitches for a corner and you have to put 6 double crochets into this thing. But it's supposed to be tight because, at least for me, it's supposed to be tight because that's the best way it lays down. Do chain 3 because again this is the corner, so you have to do the normal corner chain of 3. Now 3 more double crochets go into this little chain 3 corner down here. Again, gonna be tight, but it looks good when it's finished. So do another 3 into that corner. There's that corner done. So now, it's so hard to show. There. There's 3 corners. You can kind of start to see how it's gonna look good once it finishes. You just have to trust me on this. I know it's like difficult to do, but this will look good at the end. It'll look like the other ones that I have. Again, not perfect, but it looks good. So now that that corner is done, chain 1. I included like 6 sentences into one there. Now you're going to go between the 2 petals again with the 3 double crochets like normal granny squares. So be right back. Also chained 1 here, so I've already done the next chain after I double crocheted into here. And yes, I am learning the crochet terms, so thank you for letting me learn them, or forcing me into learning these. So I am actually learning, and I'm quite proud of myself for doing that. So I do have to thank you for that, because otherwise I wouldn't be learning anything about it. Anyway, you find the next corner spot, the next chained 3 on the corner of the petal. So you find that and do the same thing as the other corner, where you do 3 doubles and then another chain 3 and then another 3 doubles into the same little space. So I'm going to do that and then I'll be right back. If I can get my fingers in all the little corners. There you go. All 4 corners are there. So you can see how it turns into, you know, a granny square with a flower in the middle. So that's that. I did this corner and I already did the chain 1 space as well. So now you just go in between the petals into that chain 3 that you did, and then that'll be the first round of the granny square flower thingy. I don't really know what to call it, so yeah, I hope the title makes some sort of sense, because I don't know what to call it. Yeah. So anyway, there's that. And then chain 1, and now for the final, you finish it like a normal granny square round by slip stitch into the 2 spaces and then into the main corner of the space. So that's that. I'm gonna do, because, here, I'll show you it, finished, there it is. Well, not finished, but the first row, or round, I guess you would call it. But that's that. See how it suddenly turns into a granny square? I don't know any better way to do it, but that's like the best way that I have found that's working for me. Hopefully it'll work for you. If it doesn't, take it apart, try again, you'll figure it out one time. It's just one try is just going to be the one that finally works for you, so trust me on that, just keep trying. But because I'm doing a total of 3 rounds of the granny square on these, I'm going to do 2 more and then I will show you it finished. So I'll be right back. Alright, here it is, all done. But see what I mean by it? It's really, really weird. Also, I love blue and white together, so I'm glad I grabbed that one. You see what I mean by it starts out looking really, really weird and it doesn't make any sense at all, and then suddenly it looks fine. I don't know how that happens, but it does. And hopefully that turned out for you if it's your first try or your 9th try at it. I hope it turns out for you and it wasn't too terribly difficult to follow my instructions, because again, I'm just learning the terms and I'm not positive if they're completely correct. Because again, I'm still learning them. I know the basics, obviously. I know what things are basically called, but I'm trying to learn the actual right things for them, and I'm hoping I'm getting it right. And I do have to thank you for that, because otherwise I still wouldn't know. Like, I know I hold the yarn wrong for crocheting and knitting. Like, I know you're supposed to, like, hold it in this hand, but I cannot do that because I've been doing it for so long the other way. But anyway, not the point of this, but truly thank you. I hope this guy, the instructions weren't too terribly hard to follow. And if they were, I'm sorry. But if they weren't, I hope you had fun making it and it turned out good, and you like it, all that fun stuff. I just hope you were able to figure this out, and it wasn't too hard to do the instructions. I know they're not professional, but I hope it was, you know, enough to get you figuring it out, because that's the best way I know how to explain things. And also, I just kind of made this thing up, like 3 days ago, I think. Yeah, 3 days ago. So I'm sure it's a pattern. I'm sure it's a professional thing. I'm sure there are better tutorials out there. But I hope that this version of the tutorial and this thing was helpful for you. I know it's gonna be a surprise for you. But as you can see, I already have a pile of them going. I'm gonna make a blanket out of them. I know, it is completely shocking. I've never made a blanket before in my life. Ignore all the ones on my bed back there and all the ones that I have said. But yeah, I've never made a blanket. I don't know. This is a whole new thing. Never done anything like this before. But yeah, I'm gonna make them a blanket, and whenever I finish it, whether that's in a few months or way later this year, I'll show you what it looks like. So yeah, if you want to see it, which I don't know, I kind of want to show what it turns out to look like, because even I don't know what it's going to turn out to look like. So hopefully I remember to show you that. But yeah, I'm done rambling, I swear. Thank you for watching, and I hope it helped you make one of them. They're very cute, so I hope you are able to figure it out. So thanks for watching. Bye.